What if I told you that one of the most influential people alive today almost lost everything multiple times before he ever changed the world? Elon Musk. The name we now link with futuristic cars, private space travel, and unimaginable ambition wasn't always the genius billionaire people see today. In fact, his path was paved with crushing setbacks, public embarrassment, and moments where it all nearly collapsed. This isn't a story about smooth success. This is about the 3 times Elon Musk failed so badly that most people would have quit. But instead of walking away, he dug deeper. And that's exactly why he ended up changing everything. Stick around, because each failure shaped the man who would go on to build Tesla, launch rockets into orbit, and push humanity closer to Mars. Elon fired from his own company, XCOM PayPal. Elon Musk didn't start out building rockets or electric cars. His first real shot at changing the world came with a startup called XCOM in 1999, a company that aimed to revolutionize how we use money online. Back then, online banking was clunky and filled with friction. Musk saw the potential to simplify and digitize personal finance in a way that would eventually lead to services like Venmo and Apple Pay. He had a bold vision, no doubt, but he lacked the leadership experience to keep the team and investors aligned. Things got tense quickly. Musk had strong opinions, and not everyone agreed with his direction for the company. He wanted to run everything from the tech stack to the branding, and that didn't sit well with executives and board members.
Whatever some activist posing as a judge in Delaware happens to do will not affect the future company.
His style was intense, often seen as erratic or domineering. And in a move that felt like a scene out of a movie, Musk was fired as CEO while on vacation. Yes, while he was away, the board voted him out and replaced him. Most people would take that kind of betrayal personally, and rightfully so. He built the company. He gave it everything. And yet, when the dust settled, it was no longer his. Eventually, XCOM merged with a rival company to become PayPal, which would go on to be acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion. Musk was still a shareholder, so he made money. But the sting of being removed from his own company never really left. Instead of walking away bitter, he took the loss and studied it. He learned what not to do as a leader, how to handle power struggles, and why vision alone isn't enough. That painful moment shaped how he'd run future companies. With more control, more resilience, SpaceX's rockets blew up 3 in a row. When Elon Musk started SpaceX in 2002, people laughed. A private rocket company, competing with NASA and military contractors. It sounded like a billionaire's expensive science project. But Musk wasn't playing games.
Then we've got the Model S, which starts at around $50,000, and our third generation car, which will hopefully be out in about 3 or 4 years.
He had a real mission: to cut the cost of space travel and make life multiplanetary. What he didn't anticipate, at least not fully, was just how punishing the learning curve would be. SpaceX's first rocket, Falcon 1, was supposed to be a breakthrough in low-cost space access. But the reality, a string of very public failures. The first launch in 2006 exploded, the second in 2007 failed to reach orbit, the third in 2008, critical moment, also failed. That's 3 rockets, millions of dollars, and 0 success. Each failed mission burned through cash and credibility. The media mocked him, engineers left, critics called him a reckless outsider with more money than sense. What most people don't know is that after the third failure, SpaceX was basically done. Elon had poured nearly all of his PayPal earnings into the company. His personal and professional reputations were on the line. This was a breaking point, financially, emotionally, and strategically. But instead of retreating, Musk doubled down. He scraped together just enough money for one final attempt, and that fourth launch, it worked. Against the odds, Falcon 1 reached orbit. It was a massive technical achievement, but more importantly, it proved that SpaceX wasn't just a pipe dream.
And material science actually working on ultracapacitors for potential use in electric vehicles, essentially trying to solve the range problem for electric vehicles.
That same year, they landed a $1.6 billion contract with NASA to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. One win changed everything. This wasn't just about rockets, it was about endurance. When everything was burning, literally and figuratively, Musk didn't flinch. That grit would become a trademark of his future ventures. Elon 3. Tesla nearly went bankrupt in 2008. Elon Musk was fighting a war on 2 fronts. While SpaceX teetered on the edge of failure, Tesla was collapsing under its own weight.
Which no one has ever done, so it's a hard problem. So that's why I'd say that's the number one biggest remaining problem. The ship is still operational and is able to steer to a specific location.
Musk had founded Tesla with the dream of making electric vehicles mainstream, cool, fast, and desirable. But the road to that future was brutal. The first Tesla Roadsters were expensive to build, plagued with technical issues, and painfully slow to deliver. Production delays stacked up, costs ballooned, and critics lined up to call Tesla a bust. By late 2008, Tesla was on life support. Investors were spooked. The global economy was spiraling from the financial crisis. Orders vanished. Confidence disappeared. Meanwhile, Musk had already poured over $7 million of his own money into Tesla, and it still wasn't enough. He had maxed out personal loans. His bank accounts were almost empty. There was no safety net left. At one point, Musk had to borrow money from friends just to cover his rent. The company was literally days away from shutting down. His reputation was shredded. People whispered that he was finished, that he'd flown too close to the sun. But he refused to let it go. In a final do-or-die move, he split his remaining funds between SpaceX and Tesla. It was a dangerous bet. If either company failed, he'd lose everything. But just in time, Tesla secured emergency funding, and SpaceX's fourth rocket finally reached orbit. Both companies survived, barely. This wasn't some Hollywood underdog story. It was real risk, real sacrifice, and real pressure. Musk didn't just save Tesla, he saved the future of electric vehicles. That near bankruptcy moment didn't break him. It forged the conviction that would fuel Tesla's rise into one of the world's most valuable companies. Turning point. He didn't quit. What separates Musk from others isn't intelligence or even ambition, it's endurance. After being fired, after the rockets exploded, after nearly going bankrupt, he still didn't quit. In fact, those failures seemed to harden him. They stripped away any illusions and forced him to build smarter, lead better, and think long-term. Musk knew that if you're doing something truly groundbreaking, failure isn't a detour, it's the path. Most people fold when the world tells them no 3 times. But Musk listened, adjusted, and kept going. That's why he succeeded. The fourth SpaceX launch led to government contract. Tesla went from ridicule to industry leader. SolarCity, Starlink, Neuralink, they all came after those 3 failures. He didn't change the world in spite of his failures. He changed it because of them. This part of his story reminds us that success isn't instant, and it's definitely not smooth. It's earned in those brutal, lonely moments when everything's on the line and quitting feels like the easier option. Musk didn't quit, and that made all the difference. In the end, Elon Musk's story isn't one of effortless genius or perfect execution. It's a story of getting knocked down hard and standing back up every single time. He failed 3 major times, lost his company, lost millions to exploding rockets, and nearly lost it all with Tesla. But each failure pushed him to get better, think bigger, and go harder. He didn't just build companies, he rewrote industries. And that kind of impact doesn't come without scars. So if this story hit you, share it, like, comment, and tell us, what's your biggest lesson from Elon's journey? And if you're chasing something big, remember the path to changing everything starts with failing forward. Make sure to subscribe for more stories that don't just inspire, but teach. We're just getting started.